welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna have a look at NAS100 gold US30. This is usual for us guys. It's the only ones, not the only ones I trade, but it's the ones I look at the most, and it's the ones our team looks at the most. So the first thing we're gonna look at is we're gonna look at the Nasdaq, right? So first let's have just a quick look at weekly. As if those of you watched the video last week, the tweezer kind of did play out to give us a little bit of a retrace here. We are once again overall on an upward trend. I don't foresee a complete reversal just yet. One thing I do want to cover with you guys is my thoughts here. Last week we were trying to catch up with the 8 MA. Those of you who've been through the moving average videos, you'd know that the 8 MA is kind of one that we will consistently chase across all time frames. Like if the market shoots up too far, it tends to come to the downside. As you can see, there was a lot of bullish momentum going to the top side. Now we the 8 MA is kind of telling it, hey, come down again. So just based off what I see on a weekly and scaling down to like the daily chart, right? There are two things that could potentially take place here. The market could actually do something like this. The market can pull down, respect this support area completely, and then continue to the upside. That's the one. Then we have another one where the market could come chase the 50 MA down here. Right? So what I would look for is possibly a test of this 50 MA to kind of just make sure it wants to go up. So that's why I have the rectangle here. So I'm looking for a continuation to the upside somewhere within this vicinity. Reason why I'm not going to say for sure this one or this one is that the market will do whatever it wants to do. It could even go as far as coming to the downside, nick the 50, catch a midway area over here. Remember, like it's quite a nice area for us to be catching an entry off of. So we're just gonna watch Monday. I do have a feeling that it might show itself, right? So let the market correct itself on Monday, and then we'll take the entry from there, right? Then if we scale down to the 4-hour chart, which is the one that I normally cover, what we can see here is the 200 MA was broken. So what I would like to do is to show you guys quickly something like a way you can kind of use it. Mark off where your 50 MA is. So if it's a 50 MA on daily, chances are it would move, let's say around about here, within this vicinity, right? And if we went to our 4-hour chart, what that does for us is it gives us an idea of how far we can fall for now, like for those of you who want to scalp a shorter term. So ideally what I'd be looking for, so I can take this one out now. Ideally what I'd be looking for here is a retest of the 200 MA, right? So come up here, the market opens, retest there, and then we fall down. This is around about where your 50 MA would be, right? At that time. Alternatively, if all goes well, we'll come test the previous high here in accordance with what we see on the weekly. Remember guys, the weekly still has a ways to fall before it would have tested its previous all-time high. So for the sell side of things, what I would like is, oops, sorry about that. For the sell side of things, what I would like is a drop all the way down here, which would actually quite nicely coincide with where my 200 MA is. So what that would look like for me is I would wait for a break or a retest of the 200, not even a break to be honest with you. A retest of the 200, a confirmation candle coming to the downside, right? Once that confirmation candle shows itself, doesn't matter for me personally guys, it doesn't matter if it's above or below this line, because this is my area of interest. I will then try and take a sell, this sell here. This red line will then be where I lock off my partial profits, and this yellow line or green line will be the place where I close my take profit will be. And if we come down here, I would ideally be looking to start preparing for the buy. In a call and in my video, I did mention NAS dropping to another low. That, remember guys, that could be this. That could be this drop that we had now. And we could actually respect the support area at the top here and just shoot all the way up again. So for the sell, ideally, what you're looking is something like this. We break this area, we get in. We're looking at the stop loss around right here. Hang on 1 second. The stop loss can actually be adjusted. The stop loss should be around about there. It's a 1:41 risk to reward ratio. Not too bad. You could even come a little bit tighter if you manage to, if the 200 manages to hold. So you can maybe go there. So that gives you a 1:64 risk to reward. I personally, guys, like don't necessarily like the idea of selling within this vicinity, but it's doable if we see the right moves. If you would like to be updated with these things, I just recommend keeping an eye on the relevant channels, right? It looks okay for the sell. I mean, daily is still very much bullish. And like bullish overall is what I mean. It could be that we also trying to complete the hidden bullish divergence here. As you can see, we're still in a little bit of an exaggerated divergence here, as exaggerated bullish divergence. We could nick it right here, and like as I said, yeah, on the 4 hour, we could respect on the daily. I mean, sorry guys, on the daily, we could just respect this area and shoot up. But just in case, you don't want to forfeit good moves, you kind of want to just keep all this in mind. So remember, you want to lock off partials once we reach the 50 EMA, and you also want to run it only till this area for the sell, right? Then for the buy side of things, this is a little bit of a tricky one. So my sentiments for the buy would be something like this. My sentiments for the buy would be something like this. We respect this area, come down here, and then continue up. If that takes place, right? Two things here. You could catch the buy from the very beginning on the condition that it has a confirmation candle, right? Of some kind. So it must be a bullish candle that needs to take place here. So the bullish candle needs to be around about here, right? Let's say round about, guys. Like it's not for sure. The bullish candle should be about there, right? Above this levels to confirm for us that we're going to come up, right? Alternatively, you could take a more conservative entry, let it come back up and let it break this area here. Just remove this thing. Let it break this area up here, retest it, and then you get into the buy from here. Your targets would read something like this. So let's say first hypothetically we take the early one, right? And we catch, I would personally take it from here only, right? So I would take it like here. That would be the, oops, that's the wrong one. Remove. I would personally be taking it from here, right? And I have my stop loss here, right? So because of what I'm trying to target, I'd be willing to keep my stop loss quite wide, right? So your first target would be the all-time high, right? That's your first one. And then your second one would be 16,000. Now, I am in a trade to target 16,000, but I've been in from down here already, right? So this is your risk reward for this specific one is 2:69. And then your risk for the overall weekly target for the buy, or whatever the case might be, the overall target for the buy would be something like this, which is 4:43. Both of which are very good. So guys, just to recap, you can catch the sell, right, on a 4 hour chart on condition that we retest this 200 first. It mustn't reject the 200 to go above again. The next candle must close below, right? Because of where we are, keep in mind we might just wait downward here for that 50 to catch up and shoot up. That's like my thoughts on NAS for now. My overall sentiment coming into the first day or so would be there might be a little bit of a pullback, pull downward to the downside, or just to have the MAs catch up, right? So just remember the 15 needs to catch up on the daily, and the 8 is just about catching up on the weekly, which is nice for the little wick to the downside, and then the momentum to the upside coming past the news articles for Wednesday. So chances of this going a little bit south is a little bit high, so trade carefully, guys. I would definitely recommend trade very safe this week because of the news. I will cover that in the later point in the video. Yeah. For now, for your buy, that's there. You can take a conservative entry up here as well. You catch a retest of there with the same targets in mind, right? Maybe a better stop loss, like something like that, and you chase the all-time high, and then eventually 16,000, like we said before. This would totally be dependent on you guys, how you wish to trade it. Me personally, I'm gonna wait until we clear this area here. Once we can reject this area comfortably and have a bullish confirmation candle, then I'll get in. I do see potential for, on a daily actually, funny enough, on a daily I do see potential for a 3-bear strike here. Bang, come back in here with a bearish candle. The next day, bam, gone. So that's why I want to see what Monday is going to hold for us, so that I can make proper decisions. For now, I'm neither here nor there with NAS. The overall trend is bullish and I'm kind of looking for a bull move. However, the lower we go, the better the buy becomes for us. Remember, new devices are coming out for Apple as well, which directly affects the way Nasdaq will move. Right? Then what I'd like to look at is gold. Gold for me, hi, this one was a little bit of a tricky one for the past few days. As you guys can see, I covered this in the video last week. I said if we break here, I'd start selling. We kind of hit most of the targets down here, right? We're also in an overall bearish market for now. However, gold has now finally come to form a right shoulder. Yeah, we got a rejection candle. It is still a little bit neutral, so things could get very wonky coming into this week. So for gold, those of you who want to trade it, what you'd like is, you see, we must still come test the 8 MA on daily. So for gold, what I would look for, I'm not going to get into too much detail with gold because this trade could go completely south due to all the news on Wednesday, right? But the gold sell would look something like this, right? With a ridiculous stop loss, I feel like, with a take profit down here. This, guys, is a very kind of risky trade because of the inverse head and shoulders, right? However, we also have a nice possibility for a buy, but I won't get in. So essentially this here, this whole thing here, if for a buy, is my no trade zone. This whole thing would be I won't get in on a buy until we break out of this box above here. So what I would like to do is I'd like for to complete the inverse head and shoulders, come up, retest, then get in for the buy, right? For that, I'd like to see, let's see, my risk reward would look something like this. Right? Not that. That won't be my target, guys. I'll fix it now. My risk reward would be actually better than that. I'd come in a little bit tighter. I'd come in like that. Your first target could be here, but I wouldn't definitely recommend that. I'd say you could target it, but it's not worth your time. So I would personally target this up here as my first target, that up there. I could even go as far as scaling down to a 4-hour to find a better, my entry can actually lower down as well. That's actually perfect. I'd make my stop loss here. That would be my buy sentiment, right? Yeah, more or less like that. Then in terms of sell side, just to recap there, so in terms of gold, what I look for is something like this, right? And then maybe move it down here. My entry would be somewhere here. And my stop loss would be, can I just zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see what I'm doing? So my stop loss would be down here. And my target would be all the way down here. Right? So you get a risk reward of 1:94. That's only for the sell. I'm not too keen on taking the sell into here. I would prefer to take a buy, to be honest with you guys. I would definitely prefer the buy over the sell here, but this trade specifically. Yeah. If it does sell, it sells, like by all means take the trade. you could tighten your risk reward, but then you run the risk of getting stopped out. Especially with the news, which is actually very important that I cover that today with you guys, yeah. And then finally, US30. So US30 did exactly as we suspected, like he wanted to drop a little bit more. That's just fine. So now we come to that area where sell becomes valid. Like, I mean, I sent this to the guys last week. For my short position, that's what it would look like. We are essentially chasing the 200 mm. Now, like I did cover this in my last week's video. So for that reason, I think that the sell is kind of likely here now a little bit. I will lock it. The sentiment's exactly the same like I said last week. So what you do is you wait. Can I just hide this thing quickly, guys? You wait for the sell to break through here. It broke. You wait for it is. Let it maybe catch up with that 8 MA there. Then you come to the downside. You lock off your partials or close your entire entry here, or you run it all the way to the 200, wherever the 200 might be. Yeah. So guys, like that's the sell sentiment for this. For a buy to kick in, right? Um, Ideally, you because of where we are, you kind of want to wait for clear confirmation because let's say hypothetically that the sell kicks in a little bit first, right? So if the sell kicks in, I would start looking for a buy if we took the 200, if we nicked the 200 and shot all the way back up. So I would wait for the drop, take the sell like I showed you guys earlier. Then let's say the 200 ended up somewhere up here, right? I would wait for a break, a touch of the 200, and then a confirmation candle with some kind of pattern. So three bear candles in a row, anything like that to confirm fast we're not going to break through, but some kind of test of the 200, right? Then I'll take the buy from there. So let's say the 200 is here. This is what it would look like for me. The 200 is there. My stop loss would be, here, nice and tight. And then where my take profit would be is my first target would be here. My second target, I've actually given this a lot of thought, would be around about, let's say 16,850 or even 16,000, 36,000 as well. You could make it all the way up like around 36,000 area. This is a very good buy. You just need to catch it in the right place. Alternatively, if you're looking for more conservative entry, right, what you could do is you could wait for it to clear this little bit here, let it do its retrace and whatever, then you try and get in from here and run the same trade like so, right? Take it from around about here and run it upward, because then we're in the price action vicinity. Remember, there's a better chance of when you're taking it down like this of not getting stopped out, number one, and there's a better chance of kind of being able to move either stop to entry or stop into profits if you take it that way. So ideally we do need some kind of retest of the 200 here. Let's just have a quick glance at the weekly chart quickly. Yeah. So what we see here is quite interesting because now we broke this nice price action area here. So the likelihood of us dropping a little bit more to possibly here or even go as cheeky as here becomes very possible, right? Which is nice. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's really cool. I just feel like that breaks structure completely. Now, what you need to see is this. Hidden bullish divergence taking place. This is in the perfect place for us to catch that buy. So some kind of wick to the downside, even a reversal within this vicinity is likely, right? That hidden bullish divergence is exactly what we needed, right? So if we go look at for when we go seek entry for our sell sentiments shouldn't be too hectic. Nothing hectic. Remember we do want to always be above the 50 level before we take sells. So before we take buys, I mean, yeah. So there we got a retest of that area. So all we're doing is we're going to go up, we retest it again, bang, we catch the sell down here. Don't be too greedy when it comes to this thing and keep your stop super tight. So what I would like to do for this sell, this specific one, wait for retest, come in there, keep the stop about like that, right? And then if So I would segment this one. If we do break this area, I would wait for a break, another retest, and then down again. Then I would take the sell again from there, right? So to look something like this, right? And that's kind of my sentiment for US30 as well. So this week's going to be a very difficult week for trading, guys. Like, not difficult in the sense of like, oh, you can't trade, da, 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 but like it's more along the lines of taking the fundamentals into account. So what you would find is the bulk of your entries come before 2 o'clock. So try and catch London sessions, try and catch the pre-New York sessions, try and catch those because they'll actually do much more justice for you this week with all the fundamentals in play, right? So in terms of the fundamentals, your guys, there's a lot going on this week, particularly in the USD. And I mean, based on everything we trade, the USD economic calendar is actually important for us. We have building permits, we have existing home sales, crude oil inventories, and then we jump into the real demons that are FOMC economic projections, FOMC statement, Fed interest rate decisions, and then we have the press conference. For the fundamental scalpers, the news traders, this 8 o'clock time is like it's the holy grail. You catch manic moves during this time. I personally won't be trading these, however, but they make good indication for us what to expect in the coming months. So that's there. Then we have also some cool other ones. We have the GBP interest rate decision also coming into play, and then finally initial jobless claims. Then there's just one in particular on Friday. We don't have to trade Friday quite aggressively. We have Fed Chair Powell's speech, and we have new home sales. These are all very good indications as to what to expect from the likes of US30, from the likes of Nasdaq, as well as gold, because this will show us the overall strength of the dollar, dictating what we do. So, guys, I notice I didn't go into too much depth like I normally do, but this is why. The amount of news, it's best to stay out of the market following anything after like 4 o'clock really on Wednesday, because remember, this is South African time, guys. Anytime after that, because these things can wipe you out. Those of you who are fundamental traders have a lot of fun with these. There's a lot of scalp opportunity showing itself here. In my later videos, I'm going to show you guys some scalp tactics that can be used with fundamentals. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please post them in the link below. Keep it moving more than average, guys.